Hello and welcome to Gutshot, home of the hottest takes for Magic the Gathering. I'm Will, and joining me as always is Frederick.
Hello, this is Frederick, the other host of Gutshot, the only Magic the Gathering podcast that upholds the immortal science of anarcho-slowbatism.
Okay, I figure that they'll probably take a couple hours for you to explain that joke to me. So once we get off the air, I'm going to need you to sit me down and explain what the hell that is.
Just read some theory, and by theory I mean Cody Vociferous Codex.
You are never going to make me read. I will not read.
Okay, that's fair. Sounds like
okay.
a burn player. So what's on the table for today?
Yeah, so we actually have a lot of older news to cover this episode. We're talking about the changes to Magic's organized play. It kind of all went up in flames recently, and we're going to give our takes on what happened and talk about what we want the most, us as entrenched Magic players, what we want the most out of a brand new OP system. And it's been a little bit since it was announced. We've had time to go through the 5 stages of grief and really think about what we want. So all of our thoughts here have percolated into something that I think is going to be really good for Wizards to finally listen to our podcast and take what we have to say to heart.
Yeah, I agree. They have repealed, and now it's time for them to replace, and they have not really announced what system they would like to put in place for organized play. So we're going to talk about our personal ideas that we have. Maybe pipe dreams, maybe realistic. I guess we'll see. But before we do that, I believe we have some front matter.
Oh, yeah. So I want to make sure that our listeners are updated on your experience with Modern Horizons 2. We spent a couple episodes talking about. We were both super excited. I have not actually bought or played with any of the cards, but you have, and I think that you have a pretty interesting story to tell. Do you want to give us an update on your experience so far with Modern Horizons 2?
Yeah, so mine has been great. And keep in mind, I would be saying that even if I didn't pull a foil Old Border Misty Rainforest at my pre-release, but I pulled a foil Old Border Misty Rainforest at my pre-release. I also pulled friend of the show, Azmarano, Marticadice, and Nicole, which I didn't realize was a $15 card. And so I did pretty well for myself at the pre-release, I would say. I also had a pretty kick-ass deck. I ended up only going 2-2 because the 2 people I played against in the last round had even more kick-ass decks. One of them had, a Sword of Hearth and Home, and then just a couple of other really good rares in his colors. And then the next guy just had a very good sort of Grixis Sacrifice style deck. But every match I played was incredibly fun. It's a super good limited format. I really wish it was cheaper so I could play it more, but it's a super fun limited format. I ended up being able to trade the Misty to a guy who had just cracked 5 boxes, a whale, I believe they call them. And I ended up trading him the Misty for 2 regular Misties, 2 regular Scalding Tarns, a Ragavan, a Shardless Agent, and a couple of other random rares. So I got most of what I need for the modern deck I'm excited about building. I would say Modern Horizons 2's limited environment is incredibly fun.
That's really good to hear, and that tracks with everything else I've heard about the set. So not surprised that you like it. All I'm doing is I'm just monitoring those fetch land prices and just seeing what that bottom's going to be. We may have already passed it because I'm starting to see prices creep up by $1 or $2 here and there. But I have my full cart just sitting there ready to pull the trigger whenever I'm ready to spend that. Still large chunk of cash.
Yeah, I would say soon. I think they are going to start going back up. I have to sneeze.
Vamp.
All right, I'm back.
Vamp. It's totally possible that the floor is right now. So if anybody needs the fetch lands and wants to pull the trigger right now, you probably won't regret it too much. you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially if because I've done the math on the fetch lands that are being reprinted from this set and the ones that I need, and it's still like a $500 investment, and this is at the lowest prices in a very long time. It's still a huge amount, but you know, if you need them and you have the ability to spend that, if you buy them right now, you're probably not going to regret it too much.
Yeah, absolutely. And like even if you just buy a playset of one of the fetches and then wait till the next time they come around. The other thing is like, look at the deck you're building with them. I mean, unless you just want to own a playset of all of them. Look at the deck you're building with them. Like I'm building a teamer deck and I was like, I can make the fetch that's a 4 of Wooded Foothills since I already own them. And then just play like 2 or 3 Misty, 2 or 3 Tarn, and then be fine.
Yeah. I think
and
that
just
that's
act
smart.
accordingly.
Yeah, I think that that's smart. Is thinking about the deck, like what gets you playing Magic first, instead of having a perfect a perfect collection that's like gonna serve needs in the future that might not ever come. Like
Right.
a Scalding Tarn. I would love to have them. I should probably have them if I'm considering myself a serious competitive player. But like, I can't see myself actually buying or buying into a Scalding Tarn deck anytime soon. So yeah. So something to keep in mind. But let's go ahead and get into our OP changes and our thoughts on that. If you like what we're talking about here, we appreciate you coming in and spending your time with us talking about Magic. If you are watching this on YouTube and you like the video, go ahead and like the video. We'd really appreciate that. And you feel free to subscribe if you would like more of that juicy gut shot content. The bell icon is there if you want notifications, but more than anything, we want to hear what you have to say about what we're talking about. So leave a comment in the YouTube, or you can tweet at us at gutshotpod, whether you agree with us or you think we're a bunch of dirty commies and want to yell at us for our politics. You can do that. We want to hear what you have to say, and I'm totally interested in reading any comments we get on air, and getting a little interaction with you all. So keep that in mind. We really appreciate you, and let's get into OP changes. So
Yeah, and tell us what you want organized play to look like.
Yeah, yes, we definitely want to hear that as well. So we're about a month away from this, but May 13th, the Magic Esports account on magic.gg posted a update called Esports Transitions and Getting Back to the Gathering. And basically, the long and short of it is that the current OP system, so that would be the Magic Pro League, NPL, and the Rivals League, which was added later, but we've had for about a year or two now, is officially ending, just kaput, gone completely, at the end of the 2021-2022 season, which I believe is the season we're currently in. A lot of people aren't going to be able to answer that question because no one knows how any of this was supposed to work to begin with. But that's what I believe is happening right now. And they said that they would be transitioning into a different system. However, they weren't able to give any details on what the next organized play system was going to look like. And multiple times in the update, they asked us to be very patient with them. But they added a few details that they wanted to make us aware of. One of them, and I'm quoting here, in-person play is a unique strength for Magic, and we need to lean into that. Another quote, digital play is here to stay, but is only part of the equation. And this was not in the announcement, but the Magic Esports Twitter account tweeted, and a lot of people have been linking to this, and something like this really should have been in the original announcement, that OP will not, and this is another quote, OP will not be explicitly designed to support competitive Magic as a career path. However, there will be Grand Prix, PTQ, and Pro Tour like events. Now that's a huge statement right there, and I think that kind of gives the game away a little bit on where they're thinking about going. So I mean, honestly, that's all of the real details that we have right now about what's coming up. But more than anything, they want us to be patient. So let me ask you, Fred, before we hear your before we hear your dream OP structure, what do you think about this announcement? Are you sad to see the Magic Pro League and the Rivals League go away, or do you think this was a needed change?
I'm going to be honest. Excuse me. I'm going to be honest. I get most of my Magic the Gathering enjoyment just at the LGS level. I've never been one of those people who's like fantasized about being a pro player. I mean, I've fantasized about beating Paulo Vitor Damo de Rosa, but that has nothing to do with pro Magic. I just don't like. I don't aspire to that. This is a game and a hobby for me. I think it's really cool for the people who are able to make it a career. My thing is like, if this money is going to like LGSs to be able to provide really good prize support in tournaments, cool promos, stuff like that, then I'm excited that this change is happening because it sort of spreads the wealth down to, the LGS level, your average player. But I have a feeling that this gutting of prize support and this restructuring of the Magic Pro League is going to just be more money in Hasbro's pockets, in which case I am fully against it. I think, prizing for everyone, stuff like GPs, like mid-level events that like you can drive to and participate in without having any like clout behind your name. Like if the money's going there, then that would be awesome. But I have a strong feeling that it's not. So that's my worry here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we just recently got the news, and this is separate from this announcement, but we got the announcement that the $1 million prize pool for, I think, Worlds was just recently very quietly cut down to $250,000. When $1 million was promised to those pro players, and they were working towards that tournament with the idea that winning it would be $1 million. Now, where's that money going? $750,000. That's just going right back into the company's pocket, right? Like that's not being, as far as we know, that's not being reinvested into anything just yet. So developments like that really make me agree with you that like we don't know where this extra money that they're saving by doing this is going, and if it's not being reinvested into organized play, then like where's it going? How is it going to the benefit of the players? That's something to be really worried about.
Yeah, that's my chief worry, and just they seem to be making more and more anti-consumer decisions as this goes on. Between the secret layer, if you spend enough money on secret layers, you get the opportunity to purchase a secret layer playmat that just advertises secret layers, just stuff like that. All these like online exclusive products. It just doesn't give me a lot of faith that this money is actually going to go toward incentivizing players to play their game competitively.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I would say that now is the time for us to speak up, right? Because they are currently working on a system, and now is like the one time where they would be most willing to listen to players. Because I mean, everyone has an opinion on this. We have an opinion. We're talking about it on our podcast. But I do think that this is the time for Magic players to be as vocal as they can about what they want organized play to look like. Me personally, I'm actually glad to see the Magic Pro League disappear. I see what they were doing, trying to make it like try to make these esports stars that would have all these deals and that would be super popular streamers, and everyone would like follow their favorite pros and like root for them like their team, like it's baseball or football or something like that. I get why they were trying to do that. It does make a sort of amount of sense, but I don't think that it translates as well onto Magic as you think that it would. And basically the old OP system that was just gotten rid of was super top heavy. And again, just like I like to think about Magic on a competitive level, but I am not a competitive player. So to see all of that money spent on like the best like 40 people in the entire game, and then like very little on the little guys like us, is not the OP system I want to like put time into and like try to that doesn't make me want to be better at Magic or spend more money on cards or try to be as good as the game good at the game as I could be. So I'm glad to see the OP system be gotten rid of, but I really think that the main change needs to be that focus away from the top level, and I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, I think they either need to go in on the top level or give up on it, right? Like, are people able to make a living off of Magic? Should players aspire to be able to make a living off of Magic, or should they not? Like you right now, they're doing like just enough money that you can't feasibly make a living off of Magic, but also GPs are boring because Magic has been, or Wizards of the Coast have been slowly cutting off prizes to them. So like
Sure.
either have really cool GPs and have it kind of top out there, or put all the money into Pro Magic and make it a big spectacle. You could make it a big spectacle if you make it important enough. Also, well, okay, people who are very good at Magic the Gathering tend to not be very interesting. So I feel like that's part of it. Like, there's only so much personality you can build around one of these like kind of greasy white dudes.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, LSV is a very charismatic, personable person. I like his content, but yeah, I mean, he is one in a million. There's a lot of people who are at the same like level of play as him that do not have that charisma, do not have, that personable, outgoing, personality that he has. So you're absolutely right on that.
Yeah, the only thing interesting that he's done outside of Magic was cheat on his wife. So like there's reasons to root against him, but not necessarily for him. I don't really know. I just think like there's not the cult of personality that you have around famous sports stars like Ronaldo or
Messi.
Day 9. Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's not much. Maybe they just need to get like straight up regular celebrities in the Magic Pro League. Just go full into internet personalities and get rid of all the actual Magic players. I want the Pro Tour top 8 to be Snooki, Ted Kaczynski, he's out of jail, OJ Simpson, Michael Bublé,
Okay.
John Legend.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I need 3 more. Khloe Kardashian, she always gets underrepresented.
Sure. Yeah. Let's get let's get the Philly Fanatic in there.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, that's the mascot, the guy in the big fursuit for the Philadelphia. Oh God, what's the baseball team for Philadelphia?
Not Gritty, right?
No, not Gritty, but something along those lines.
Okay, yeah.
Well, let's get Gritty in there. Let's get Gritty in there.
Okay, let's get Gritty in there, and then Sargon of Akkad.
Okay. I think that this is great. It seems like both of us are agreed that like the current system was not working. It was good that they got rid of it, and we're both pretty hopeful about what is going to come. So, do you want to start us off, or do you want me to go ahead and start with our dream OP structure?
I think you should go ahead. I'm excited to hear
Sure.
about yours. Yours is probably going to make more sense than mine. Mine's going to be a bit of a pipe dream. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm happy with what I came up, and I think it does a good job of, like we said, it retains the top end, so there's still that spectacle at the top, but it really focuses on the little guys down at the bottom. So just a couple of major tenets and like philosophy points for the system. Wizards of the Coast and I agree. Paper play must be a major component going forward. It's a real shame that Magic has kind of thrown its history away, getting rid of DCI numbers. Even if that system didn't work anymore, it should have been kept as a legacy component, because one of Magic's major strength is its history. The story of it being the first and still best, in my opinion, card game. Should be celebrated, and that does mean integrating paper play fully into OP and having digital only be a part of it, but still an important part. Digital must be correctly utilized as a tool, including allowing some players to find success as digital only players. Let's be honest, this is it's 2021. Paper play, you and I both love paper play, but there are players that are just digital only, and I think that organized play should serve them and also give them a path to the top as a top player. And then one more point, the core of competitive Magic the Gathering, I do believe, should be at the LGS or online for those online players. But Wizards in the last 10 years has made a good push towards this, by having a PPTQs at the store level and having store championships. I think that those were good things, but you should be able to be a high level competitive player and have your start at an LGS and have that be a stepping stone to the next level. Do you have any do you agree with most of those tenets as being something that's worthy of focusing on for an OP system?
Yeah, I would say that that strategy has pretty much informed my. I think our systems are going to look a lot different, but the core tenets, other than the thing about supporting digital, I haven't really put anything in there about that.
Okay.
Maybe I'll have to modify that, but yeah, like the same core tenets inform both of our systems, other than my sort of, I guess, resentment for digital magic.
Sure. I do think that's a good thing. Like I said, it's a tool and it needs to be correctly utilized. But I think the big thing for me is that GPs, or whatever they want to call them, they'll probably still call them Magic Fest, I don't know. But GPs, I do think, should become the focus of competitive play. And we've spoken about this when this news first broke. I think I said something to you about how like topping a GP is still like a really great achievement that's worthy of being like excited about. Like there are tons of people who would like be happy forever if they only top aided one GP in their entire lives, right? I think that Grand Prix should become the major focus for competitive play going forward. And we know that Magic players love this convention atmosphere that GPs have. So why, we can definitely lean into that. Have all the side stuff. Have people who aren't interested in playing the main event, go and play Commander and like do all that extra stuff. You have the cosplayers and all that stuff. But the main event of the GPs be like the main avenue for making a name for yourself. If you top a GP, that's a great I mean, it's an honor. It's like one of the better things that you can do in Magic. And if you can top a GP, I think that's worthy of saying that you are one of the better players, at least in your region, and probably on par with all the better players in the world. That's why we see the same names topping GPs over and over again, is because to be able to do that, you have to be a certain like caliber of player. So I do think that Wizards should definitely lean into doing the GP circuit and having it kind of go back to its former glory. Back when GPs were like almost every weekend. They went all around the country and they went across the world as well. And maybe you could have some weekends where there are multiple GPs. Like maybe there's a US GP and then an Asia GP or something like that. Would you like to? How do you feel about that? Would you like to see something like that?
Yeah, remember what they took from you. I would say GPs were like the height of Magic for me. Mostly because the side events were so fun. I would say I peaked when I won a PPTQ. That's like all the satisfaction as a competitive Magic player that I'll probably need for the rest of my life, right?
Sure.
But especially because of who I beat in the finals at PPTQ. But basically, I think that like the core thing about the biggest event for Magic should be that if it's near you, you should be able to go. Like Pokemon Nationals is for the U.S. is always in Indiana or Ohio, which are like pretty central locations. And then if you win that, you get, or if you top 8 Nationals, you get flown into Worlds. Or if you just get enough points for winning tournaments throughout the year, you get flown into Worlds. Like Pokemon makes it as easy as logistically possible to get people to the biggest possible tournaments. And I think Magic could do a lot better job of that. So I think making GPs the center of it, I guess I can't say the city that we're both from, but it had a GP once a year without fail. And it was like I don't know about you, but for me as a Magic player, it was the highlight of my year. Was when our city had its GP. And yeah, I just... same with GP Vegas, or whatever else. There's just big. It's a big event. It's like the. Never mind. I can't say that.
Sure. Yeah. I totally hear what you're saying. One extra thing I want to throw on here is that these GPs have to have classic style coverage like we gotten used to over the last 10 years and kind of got messed up a little bit in the last few because of the Magic Pro League. So I'm thinking that, like classic SCG, Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan type commentary on, feature rounds, round by round, that people can really, tune into on Twitch and watch and like learn about their favorite format and see see people like new people plus names that they know already. I think that was enough to get that star power going. Like we all knew who LSV was before before the MPL, because just like being good at Magic and being able to get into those feature matches was enough to make a name for yourself in Magic. So yeah, we definitely need that classic style coverage. That's something that Magic should not throw away and should embrace as something that is a part of this game.
Yeah, and like to add on that, I think if like it seems like Wizards is hellbent on getting non-Magic personalities involved in Magic, which to a certain extent I understand. But when you replace pro players in big events with these big personalities, like these Hearthstone streamers, these just general streamers, Mr. Beast, like those types of people, it's a bit insulting to the people who worked hard to get in those events. But the casting slots, like, yeah, have Louis Scott Vargas or Marshall Sutcliffe or somebody who really knows what they're talking about doing the casting, and then have like Post Malone helping them do that, or get like whatever personality you're going to pay a bunch of money to have cast Magic, inform them what the popular decks do, and then have them like narrate the tournament. It would be kind of fun to watch an experienced Magic player explain to, I don't know, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, like what complicated plays are happening within the game. I don't think that would be such a bad thing.
No, definitely not. So I think that's definitely something that Magic should do. Now, on top of that, because I do think there needs to be a pinnacle. Like we like big, like huge worlds like events, and I think that Magic does need something like that. So there will be a in my system there is a worlds event that Grand Prix and other premier tournaments feed into, and these I do think should be like massive spectacle type things, kind of like those huge esports events that happen in like actual like sports stadiums, kind of like Dota's International. Are you familiar with the International and how like huge that thing is?
Yeah, it's the one that goes like Sayo. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it has like multiple like millions of dollars in prizes, and I think it happens twice a year. I'm not exactly sure, but it's like a huge event, and has all. It's basically what Magic thought the Magic Pro League was going to be.
Yeah.
Magic should have one of these, I think. Only once a year. It can't be, like a pro tour level where it happens every 4 months. I think once a year, and don't have it go around the world. I think we're past the whole, play Magic, see the world phase of Magic. Just always have it be in Seattle, because Seattle is where Magic is made. It is like the home of Magic. Throw like tours of Wizards of the Coast. Like I think just having it in Seattle, that probably saves them a ton of money on having it one place, like their esports stadium, where all like huge competitive Magic happens, and keep the You Become a Card prize as the pinnacle of achievement.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think it needs to be like, $1 million or, however many thousands of dollars. Have it just be a couple of $1,000s and you get your face on a Magic card for, for the rest of the time. I think that that's enough of a draw to make people want to really work to get into Worlds. And there'll be some cash in it, but it's not going to be $1 million. Nobody needs to be paying a Magic player $1 million. But I do think there needs to be something big once a year that all of this kind of premier Magic can feed into.
Yeah, and I think keeping it in Seattle every year opens up the possibility of my dream, which is an annual Gavin Verhey clam chowder dunking booth. I think that would be a very good time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now I do think that, like I said, there should be digital only players, and I think that a similar system can be thrown in there. We have the top arena players, every like just regularly, like maybe monthly or quarterly, I don't know, but just have the top arena ladder players playing qualifier tournaments, and Wizards would have to they would have to invest into Arena to become a great tool for OP, which they haven't done yet. But I mean, honestly, they should, and it would require them to do that. But it could definitely be done. You know, let's just say every month, all the top Arena ladder players, like maybe like if you're top 1,000 in either a standard, limited, or historic, they all play in the qualifier tournament, and then like the top whatever of those go into maybe like a another qualifier, and then like the top players of that qualifier get put into worlds. And then that is the ladder for digital only players to really prove that they deserve to be in the worlds, and then they can be flown into Seattle and be given cards, and maybe worlds can all be like online and like a like an esports type thing, that which would make it better to watch for sure, and just have that be the ladder for digital only players. And we could definitely have something for LGS players too, and this is where I really think the infrastructure should be put. We already have a store championship like event that happens in LGSs. Why not have that work the same way? So your store can have like a store championship for each set, which I think still happens, and have those feed into qualifiers for worlds. And these regional qualifiers can be run kind of like GPs, like we have the GP organizers of old that could do these regional qualifiers. And if the infrastructure doesn't work out that way, these could definitely be run online too. It's like win the store championship at your LGS, and then it's like, oh, you get an invite into this online tournament, and then that online tournament can get you into worlds where you could go play with your paper cards, or play online if that's how they decide to do it. But like have that same kind of feeder system that goes from the LGS to the big worlds event, and that's pretty much it. I think that's enough, and that gives the smaller players like you and I plenty of opportunities to play, and gives us those kind of high stakes tournaments to care about. And then when your GP comes to your town once a year, that's when you're like, okay, this is the tournament where I get to like prove that if I spike, it gives you that dream, right? Oh, if I could just spike this real quick, I can prove that I deserve to be at Worlds, and kind of it makes it exciting, right? And you can be on coverage and stuff. So that is my OP system. Overall, what do you think of the system? Is this something that you would like to put time into as a Magic player?
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's a hell of a lot better than our current system, and I think better than any system that we've had since I've been playing. I just missed out on the mailing full art promos. I think I think it would solve a lot of problems. I think obviously it would screw over pro players a little bit, but so would just gutting their funding. There's not really anything positive to be done there, and it takes that and puts it at the LGS level, gives people something to play for. I think the caveat would be, I guess, like if you're going to have paper tournaments feed into digital tournaments, then if you won a paper tournament and that got you your invite to a digital tournament, you should temporarily get an account with all cards unlocked on it, so that you don't sort of get something you have to buy as a reward for a paper tournament if you only play in paper normally. But yeah, I think it's a good system. I think it's very sound. I like it a lot.
You're right. There are concerns about that. Now, I think that I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but I mean, if you're serious about Magic, you should just have an Arena account that you keep up. It's like if you want to be serious about Magic, it's kind of not defensible for you to just be like, I'm not an Arena player, I don't play Arena. So I would say that these people should just have Arena accounts. But you're right, something like that would need to be thought about, and they have the infrastructure to be able to do that. Like we know that like accounts exist. They have the ability to just make accounts that have all cards on them, especially if it's just a one tournament where you just need to register one deck for one tournament. That surely should be able to be done. But you're right, they would need to think about that. But yeah, just Arena needs to be used as a tool, and there are lots of ways that tool can be used to great effect. And Arena just needs a tournament. It needs a tournament mode, and it also needs a spectator mode. Like they absolutely have to have something like that for this to exist. But all that being said, I would be happy with this, but there's a lot of other systems I think I would be happy about. I want to hear what your system is, Fred. What do you want to see out of Magic OP?
So I have, raged against the dying of the light in terms of digital magic taking over paper. My system doesn't mention digital magic at all, which I realize I probably should have. Just maybe you can earn these points through digital magic. Just pretend I said that.
Sure.
I think I disagree with you on you having to have a arena account. I think once arena hosts modern and commander, 4-player commander, I could agree with that. But until then, there are two huge formats, including one of which is probably the biggest format that just don't exist on arena right now. Or like facsimiles of them exist on arena in the form of historic or historic brawl. But anyway, I have created a system that is pretty much entirely LGS based. I was a little more generous with my pricing for the World Championship, just because I think Wizards can afford it. Now, I think yours is more realistic because just because they can afford it doesn't mean they're going to do it. But if I magically owned Wizards of the Coast or owned Hasbro tomorrow, this is what I would do with the reward system. So starting off at the LGS level, which is where I really want to sort of water that area in terms of Magic play, we're going to have a point system that gives you points you can exchange for promos, and the emphasis is on showing up and playing in events and socializing, right? You want to just get people in. You don't want to restrict these behind playing. Now, there's more points for winning, but essentially, when you show up to your LGS for Modern, Standard, Commander, whatever weekly event, you get tournaments will fire as long as they have at least 4 people. You get 100 points for participating in a tournament, 20 more points for placing in top 4, 20 more points if there's more than 7 people at the tournament, 20 more points if there's more than 15 people at the tournament, and then 20 more points if you win, for a maximum of 180 points. Now these points. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, this just reminds me a lot of Planeswalker points, which we already know about and have infrastructure for.
Yeah, I thought that was a neat system, even though I missed out on it. And then essentially, these points can be these points are strictly for getting promos. They don't have anything to do with qualifying for other tournaments, but they are for getting prizes that will get players excited. So for 100 points, which is just showing up to a tournament and like it not necessarily like you didn't do well, not many other people showed up, whatever, like the minimum, you get to pick based on format an already cheap but good card, sort of uncommon, common level. And I've put some examples here. So for standard, we're thinking things like Shock or Professor Zoomancy. For modern, we're thinking things like Remand or Burning Tree Emissary. For commander, I listed Orzhov Signet and Factor Fiction. Just these cards that are pretty cheap already, but people who play those formats a lot would probably know what they do off the top of their head. And these are just like basically the promos would have a treatment based on the set that they came out alongside, and they would rotate every 3 months when a new standard set comes out. So if the new set is Return to Innistrad, then these cards would all be Innistrad themed. And then for 350 points, you're going to have to save a little bit for these. You're going to have to show up to a couple tournaments, maybe do pretty well at them. For 350 points, I've set aside some cards that like need reprints due to price and will be desirable by players. So for standard, Bonecrusher Giant and Heliod Suncrowned. For modern, Wrenn and 6, Wooded Foothills, they could rotate through the fetch lands slowly, and that would be something that would get a lot of modern players going to their LGS, even if they had to like win a tournament 2 weeks in a row to get one. It's something you fought for. It's like a reward, and you get to put it in your modern deck and immediately play it. And then for commander, I put Sword of War and Peace and Damnation as the examples for that slot. And then, like, based on the set that most recently came out, deck box 200 points, sleeves 250 points, playmats 300 points. Basically, the idea being that if you just show up to one FNM like once a set, like if you're that level of player, you can get one of the like low point promos just to commemorate it. But if you're a grinder, if you really want to work your ass off to try to get that play set of Sword of War and Peace by coming in and winning Commander every week for 3 months, to get like that playset of Sword of War and Peace or that playset of Wrenn and 6, you have that option, and you'll be rewarded for that sort of dedication. But they're promos essentially, and they just like I've tried to pick cards as examples that would just sort of get players excited. Those promos would be guaranteed not to be reprinted again in that like promo visual sense. So like once this set is over and like let's say Path to Exile was the cheap modern reprint, that art of Path to Exile will never be released again. So you have something unique, and you got it just for going and playing at your LGS. What do you think about that kind of system? I think either mailing or giving them to the LGS to hand out would be best. I don't know. Like I know some LGSs would take advantage of having those promos to sell potentially, so maybe you would want to mail them, especially the higher point reward ones. But what do you think about that system?
I really like it. Now, Magic players, they're gamers. We know Magic players, they'll do everything they can to game a system. And I think that this gives them a system that's fun to game, right? I don't mean game in the sense of they're like cheating or like trying to like get one over on Wizards over this, but just like it's a game. It's a game within a game, and I know that Magic players would absolutely love that. It's like, do I want to get the cheap card, or do I want to save up? It's and they kind of get to test their metal and try to get new cards. I love this. I think the only thing is like it would make sense for Wizards to like mail this stuff out to players, and that seems like a pretty big cost for them. So yeah, they would have to work out some way that would make it the logistics of that to be easy. But if they could pull it off, that would do so much to get people into stores and playing. I think that's great.
Yeah, I think you could like just do like a $5 subscription every 3 months on your Wizards account. Like when a new set comes out, you pay the $5, and then like at the end of the set, like right before the next set comes out, maybe you put in what promos you want based on your points, and they send you those plus something else to justify the $5 like subscription. Like they send you some other promo for free.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know, just something to offset the cost of shipping. But I mean, I think players would pay shipping themselves if they could have a Wooded Foothills mailed to them for playing in a few FNMs.
Right, and maybe
yeah,
maybe they could like contract out a vendor like Card Kingdom or something that already has like infrastructure for that. Just be like, Card Kingdom, here's however many thousands of dollars, and here's the data. Here, here's money and here's the data. Send the stuff out, and here's the product.
Yeah. Although with Secret Layers, maybe they have the infrastructure now.
You're right. Yeah, Secret Lair might give them the infrastructure to be able to do that. That sounds great. I would absolutely want to play in that system.
Yeah. So, but I've got more. We've got what I would like to take the place of GPs, Magic Fest, whatever you want to call them. I listed them as GPs here, but really you can call them whatever. Once a year in each large city, Vegas would get one. Cincinnati would unfortunately get one. Quebec, if that's a city. I don't know anything about Canada. New Brunswickshire.
Sure.
New Delhi. Tokyo. Just big cities would get GPs once a year each. You get 500 of those F&M points for participating, so you can get some nice stuff, as well as an exclusive promo, which would change annually. The kind of GP promos they have been doing: Progenitus, Stoneforge Mystic, Aether Vial, etc. Yeah. They would rotate ideally, so like 1 year GP Vegas would be standard, and GP New York would be modern, and then the next year GP Vegas would be Commander, and GP New York would be standard, like whatever else. So that it's different each year. And winning a GP gets you a spot at Worlds. Top 8ing 2 GPs gives you a spot at Worlds as well. And top 8ing another GP after you qualify for Worlds means that Wizards will pay for you to be flown to Worlds and pay for your hotel for 2 nights.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I really do honestly think Wizards can foot the bill for this. Pokemon does it, and their TCG infrastructure is so much lighter. So is their video game infrastructure. They do not make the money off the TCG that like Magic the Gathering does. So I really think Wizards could afford to do it. Pokemon pays for a lot more people's Worlds invite than I think this would be asking them to. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know the behind the scenes logistics, but that's just my proposal. And then each GP would have like a couple $1,000 prize pool, depending on the size of the GP. The GPs in our city would have a pretty big thing. And then I think also like side events could award these points. Of course, these points are in addition to like whatever packs the store provides. But the GP side events would also be able to reward packs. Maybe have that classic prize wall. I remember the GP prize wall being like my favorite part of going. Me and my friend would like spend the whole weekend at the GP doing side events and then like share a box of Eternal Masters at the end of it. That feeling is so cool. That is like one of my favorite memories as a Magic player. So like the side events need to be robust. Buying a side event pass for the weekend should give you the GP promo, just so that people don't feel obligated to play in a bigger event than they want to just to get the exclusive promo that commemorates the event. But essentially, that's my idea for GPs. And what are your thoughts on that before we move on to my idea for the World Championship replacement? Oh yeah, also winning a GP makes Magic the Gathering print a token with your face on it in a couple sets. You don't get to design a
Oh.
card, but like the human soldier token in the next core set or whatever is going to be you.
Okay, yeah. I love the prize wall comparison. You're absolutely right. And that was a big success of GPs, in the early, 2010s. And like once we discovered that technology, it took off, and now it was like an expected thing from everything, any big tournament thing. So you could definitely, this entire thing could be themed as a prize wall, like a, virtual prize wall, or, LGS prize wall, or something like that. Kind of lean into that. And yeah, that's already proven to be a good idea, and we should definitely lean into that. I imagine that the quote pro players would be kind of upset that like the main prize for GPs is having to win or like top in multiple GPs, because that's like their complaint is that the idea is that like Wizards won't subsidize a pro player lifestyle. And right now, the pro player lifestyle is going to multiple GPs. I don't know if we'd want a system that would incentivize going to GPs that aren't your local GP. Because
Yeah.
we don't want to. I wouldn't want to create a system where to be a top Magic player, you have to have the funds and availability to go to city after city after city to chase these GP wins. Like that's the lifestyle that one Wizards has said they don't want to subsidized anymore, and I don't want to have to encourage that kind of behavior from other players. You shouldn't have to do that to be able to be a pro Magic player. But then again, if you don't want to do that, you should just win your GP, the one that's in your town, right? Or
Yeah,
at least
I guess.
get pretty high on there.
Yeah, I guess the way I was picturing it was that like people wouldn't plan to go to Worlds every year. You would go to
Yeah.
Worlds like every few years when you're able to win a GP or top 8 2 GPs. And like if you top 8 a GP one year, you can top 8 a GP next year and then go to Worlds.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
That was what I was envisioning, but maybe you're right. I mean, it could definitely use some tweaking. But
Sure.
I think the focus on the GP as the biggest competitive event would be my priority.
No, absolutely. No, I love the system. I definitely think that it's workable and would make a lot of people happy.
Yeah, so as for my world championship, instead of cutting the prize pool to a quarter, I would double it simply
Okay, yeah.
to $2 million prize pool. Winner gets a vanity card, as is the standard now. I think that shouldn't change. That's one of the coolest things about Pro Magic. And your invitation would be based on GP performance. You can hold your like GP top 8 for a couple of years to like get another one to get into Worlds. But I would want Worlds to be maybe like 128 people, maybe 64 people, like around that size. No invites to like Hearthstone streamers or League of Legends streamers or chess streamers, like to get them into Magic. They can like cast the event. There could be like separate sort of like tournaments for them. I don't remember what they did last year, but they just had like a bunch of chess pros and like random people who were like internet famous do a Magic tournament that they subsidized, and I don't think it was that expensive for them. And like that's fine if that gets people into Magic.
Yeah, just like an invitational that doesn't like feed into any sort of other thing. It's just, this is an exhibition. It's just for fun. There's a little bit of prizes on the line, but it's just a fun week of watching people play Magic, but have it like just be that.
Yeah, I would just like I don't want the actual Pro Tour to have like Dream at it or whatever. Is Dream?
Yeah, for sure.
Does everybody like him or does everybody hate him? I haven't kept up.
I don't know. I don't keep up with the streamers.
I don't remember if he got canceled or if he's just like the new guy everyone likes. So have Ninja, show up to an actual Pro Tour, and while he's in the middle of defeating his opponent, his wife brings a sandwich not asked for. No, I think that like the sort of promotional like outside of Magic personalities should be kept separate from the Magic players, just for the not sanctity, but just to respect the amount of effort that pro players have put into playing the game.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my overall system. I think it does seem a little less realistic than your system, but I don't know. It's what I want.
No,
It's what
I
want it to
I
look
think
like.
No, I think it's great. Rewarding people for playing, I think, is a really great effort. And yeah, like just like with mine, it would take the creation of a lot of infrastructure. But once you have that infrastructure, like okay, so we all know the story of, like, you're on like a store's Facebook page, and people are like, oh, is anybody playing Modern tonight? And then the entire thing is like 20 people being like, I'll play if there's 8 people, but then like no one comes because everyone's waiting for there to be 8 people, but no one ever comes and plays.
Yeah.
If you reward people for showing up, they will show up. Especially if your tournaments require a small amount, a certain amount of people to be able to play. Like, people need that extra incentive to actually roll out bed and in 20 roll out bed, and then 20 minutes later be shuffling up a deck and playing cards.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of rewarding players, and if they wanted to do it, they could definitely do it. I mean, they Wizards and Hasbro's had record profits just announced, so they have the money if they wanted to invest in this stuff. It's just, are they going to? And hopefully they're listening to us and listening to our great ideas, and willing to put what we're saying here into practice.
Yeah, I absolutely hope so too. I guess we'll see. But yeah, I think the future of pro play is murky. Hopefully, it ends up good for the people who are really into it. I just hope it ends up good for the boys hanging out at the LGS.
Right, for sure, for sure. So if there are any updates on the new OP system, you'll hear about it here on Gut Shot. We'll definitely have something to say about it. And like Fred said earlier, what kind of OP system do you want to see? Let us know. We want to hear all of your thoughts, any comments, whether you agree or disagree with us. So comment in the YouTube comments, or you could tweet at us at GutshotPod, and I absolutely want to read any comments that we get on air, and start that dialogue with you all. Hey, we love you.
Yeah, we really do, and we would appreciate having stuff to read on air. Even if you just want to call us like SJW soy cucks, we'll read that on air.
Absolutely. So let's move away from that. I think we got our end segment here. We are doing something brand new, and this was your idea, Fred. Do you want to explain it real quick?
I am incredibly excited for this. You can call this Art of Kiran. You can call it Gonti's Aether Art. You can any pun you want. We're taking art of Magic cards that we are pretty sure the other person knows, describing the art to each other. Now, keep in mind, neither of us have much of an artistic background. I know the term negative space, and I use it in every discussion of art because it makes me feel fancy, and that's the extent of my knowledge of art. And I believe Will is about the same, probably knows a little bit more than I do. But we are going to try to describe the art of cards to each other and see if the other person can correctly guess what the card is before we run out of clues. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I will go first.
All right.
So move on to here. I'm pulling up my notes here. Okay, first clue, and I want to hear your best guess after each
clue. Yeah.
If you would like. First clue. This guy looks very nonplussed for a very stressful situation. Now I know that's half of the Magic cards, but
I'm immediately thinking like one of the counter spells where the dude's kind of freaking out. There's a counter spell with Urza on it with the like fancy hat. Maybe it's Urza's Rage. That's not a counter spell. I know that's like a different card. I was...
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Give me another.
Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, clue 2. This could absolutely be an extra from the movie 300.
Oh, a Crowan Crusader. It's a Crowan something. It's the red dude that has like Inspire, make a 1/1 with haste, and he's a red 1/1.
No, not quite,
no?
Not quite. Clue 3. A Coca-Cola commercial on a card.
Oh. I feel way less ready to answer this one. Coca-Cola commercial. He's going to be an enchantment type dude, and his body is going to look like fizzy Coca-Cola. That's what I'm thinking you're saying there.
What's your guess?
What's the white Eidolon that's not Eidolon of Rhetoric?
Oh, there's a couple of them. Hopeful Eidolon is what you're thinking of?
Maybe, yeah. But I'm guessing
No,
that's not it, or you wouldn't have told me. Okay, give me another clue.
no, that's not quite it. So this is Oh, I don't have any other clues. Okay, yeah, that's my last clue. Okay, so this is a guy. Okay, based on the Coca-Cola clue, this is a guy drinking from a bottle. So that plus all the other clues. Give me one more guess, and I'll tell you.
It's not Ifara, God of the Polis, right?
No, no, it's not
Okay.
that. This card is Revitalize, a common.
Oh, god damn it.
He is hiding behind a wall, a very short wall, and you see the rain of arrows coming down, and he is just sipping on some
That
great
would have given
juice.
it to me.
Yeah, and then
Ah.
so he's holding a spot on his chest that looks like it's hurt, but he's sipping. He looks happy. He's just enjoying that drink, and you can see that where he's grabbing his torso, it's healing. So he's doing pretty okay, even though he's being rained down by arrows.
Yeah.
So you knew this card. So you are aware of this card, right?
Yeah. I couldn't keep my bits in. I got owned on that one. Damn, I think the Rain of Arrows would have given it to me though.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe the 300 was a little obtuse.
Yeah, that put me on Theros, which I think was incorrect.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So good choice. Some great guesses by you. So why don't you give me the clues for your card?
All right. So we got an angel exploding in ink-looking stuff.
Ooh. Okay. Exploding. So ink looking stuff. I wonder if that's like beams of light, or like if you're saying ink looking stuff, I'm thinking maybe Innistrad. So I'm gonna guess that it is maybe one of the named angels from like Eldritch Moon, maybe like Bruna Failing Light or something like that.
I will go ahead and say no to all of the angels from Innistrad.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
What's the next clue?
All right, it's the face is turned away from the explosion in a sort of shock and horror.
Oh, okay. Oh, geez, I don't know. I'm not up to date on my angels. You say angel, and my immediate thought is just Restoration Angel, because that's the I know it's not Restoration Angel. It's probably not any of the Zendikar angels. I'm gonna say it's not Baneslayer Angel, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay. I need another clue.
All right, they're dropping their spear, and their feathers are flying away from them.
Okay. So it's like they're dropping their sphere. That almost makes it seem like it's a removal card. Okay, all right. I'm thinking about this wrong. It's not angel. It's a removal card. It's not. Knowing you, this is probably a modern card, and you know that I know a lot about modern. What is is it Cast Down?
No,
Okay,
unfortunately.
Okay.
All right, I'll give you your last clue. The background goes from gold to gray. It's sort of like a gold-gray scale. The whole painting is basically just different shades of gold and gray.
Okay. Oh, geez. Oh, I'm drawing a blank on this one. I still think it's a kill spell. That is playable. I'm thinking maybe Orzhov. That kind of. Is it? Oh, is it Sudden Spoiling?
No, unfortunately.
Okay.
You were right about it being a removal spell. If that had happened earlier, you may have ended up guessing it right. It is Bituminous Blast, the removal spell with Cascade.
I wasn't anywhere close to that, but now that you're saying it, I absolutely get that. Can you describe the art a little bit more?
Yeah, it's an angel sort of getting hit by this inky black shot. I gave that to you as your first clue because I was trying to throw you off and make you think it was on New Phyrexia. But it's being shot by some. This is of course the original art, not the promo art. But getting shot by this sort of stream of black ink that's like covering it. It's sort of dropping its spear. Its feathers are falling off, and its face is kind of contorted. It's obviously dying to the Bituminous Blast there. But Bituminous Blast is the spell that deals 4 damage to a creature and has Cascade. And it's a 5-drop. It's 3 and a red and a black for sorcery.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good one. I appreciate reaching out. You know, I should have known that because I used to play Jund back when it was like the best standard deck
That's
back in
why
the
I picked
day.
this one.
Yeah, I played a lot of that card. I'm disappointed in not getting it. Okay, are you ready for my second card?
I absolutely am.
Okay. I know you know this card. So
Okay.
this character looks like they just got back from a long day at the circus.
Ooh. Tron players? No, I'm kidding. Ooh, Judith Scourge Diva.
Oh, that's a great choice, but no, that is not Judith. This character is the dual wielding champion for 9 straight years.
Ooh, damn. I'm fairly certain it's Rakdos. Not like literally Rakdos, but like a Rakdos card.
Dual wielding champion for 9 straight years.
Okay, since you said 9 straight years, I was thinking something from the Return to Ravnica block, but it can't be that if it's 9 years. Is Return to Ravnica 9 years old? It is, yeah.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Shit, okay, so it's something from the Ravnica set from then. I'm gonna just go Rakdos Guildmage.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Although I really like where you're...
Review Guildmage, whatever the Rakdos Guildmage from the Return set is. But no.
It's not that, but I really like where your head is going there. So I love your train of thought, but you are kind of off quite a bit. But okay, Australia, the card.
Ooh,
I think this is a good one.
The Knife Juggler is a Hearthstone card.
Australia, the card.
Australia, the card.
Looks like they just got back from a long day at the circus. Dual wielding champion for 9 years straight. Australia, the card.
Is it the eternalized double strike creature from Hour of Devastation? It was like an F&M promo.
Adorned Pouncer?
No. there was another one. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Okay, it's not the one that gives all your equipped creatures double strike, is it?
No, it's not that. You're quite a bit off. I don't have a real fourth clue, but Australia the card means that the card, you know the meme where Australia is
the art is like, upside down.
Is upside down. Does that kind of put you in a different? Does that put you on a different path?
Yeah. Oh, Shardless Agent.
Yep, you got Shardless Agent.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. All right, I at least got one. All right.
So I was almost gonna say Day at the Zoo, because when you go to the zoo you get like the face paint and you get like a tiger face put on you, but no, they definitely look more like a circus jester or something like that. So
I guess I would have, the filigree probably would have given it to me, but I guess you didn't want to make it that easy.
You're right. So dual wielding, of course they're holding the 2 blades, but they also have cascade, so it's like you get your 2/2 and then you get something that you're cascading in. Dual wielding 9 years straight. This was originally printed in Plane Chase 2, which is also about 9 years ago.
Okay, yeah. It turns out I'm the clown for not getting it quicker.
Okay, I think we have one more. What are your clues for me for our last card?
All right, we've got a scowling lady with sort of like a DMV employee vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Scowling lady. Okay, probably not an angel. I'm gonna assume this is probably. Is it braids? Like the black braids?
No, braids is like smiling. Really creepy.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. Again, that's probably like half of Magic cards. So I need another clue. All
right, there's a griffin on her pauldron.
A griffin on her pauldron. Okay, so pauldron, I believe, is the armor that is on a on a shoulder. It's like shoulder armor. So this is probably all right. So it's probably a scowling kind of knight character. I do play a lot of those cards. Scowling knight. That is female presenting. I want to say, I don't know the name of it. It's I'm thinking of the card from Conspiracy 2 that's clearly like a Brienne of Tarth, Game of Thrones reference, where she has like the short blonde hair and she's like looking down at you like the pathetic meme. But I don't think that's it. What other scowling is it Thalia?
No.
Okay, I need another clue.
All right. Walking through a village of stone houses with wooden beams, wearing a fancy hat.
Thraben Inspector.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. The last clue I had for you was her hand exploding into pink crust, which I figured would have given it to you.
I do not even remember that part, but okay, yeah. I think that the Thalia guess kind of got me in the idea of
yeah. I didn't want to say you were
Innistrad.
close because then I figured you'd immediately get it if I just said that was if I told you were hot with that guess.
Right, for sure. Yeah. Thalia really brought me away from like the big tangent that was very far away.
Yeah.
No, that's a great one. I think that Magic needs more scowling DMV employees in it, right? Maybe we can go to
absolutely.
like maybe when we return to Ravnica, we can see what their DMV looks like.
Yeah, the Azorius DMV.
For sure. Well, that was a lot of fun.
I like that in segment.
Do you think you might want to revisit this sometime? Do this again sometime? I thought it was a lot
for sure.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this should become a staple. This and random card reviews.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that being said, thank you so much for watching this. I think that you are. Yeah, why don't you do the outro? Let's wrap this one up.
Alrighty, yeah. Thank you all for listening to this episode of Gut Shot. You can follow me on Twitter at FredSB, although I'm no longer active on there. I've kind of stopped using social media. But you can find me on Twitch at Warcrimes Uwu, where I stream a little bit of Magic, some Hades, some old GameCube games, Pokemon, etc. Just kind of a variety gaming channel. Will is at Aggro Rhetoric on Twitter, and you can follow the show on Twitter at GutshotPod, where we are tweeting inflammatory things at Mark Rosewater.
As any active Magic Twitter account should do. This has been Gutshot, the scornful egotist of Magic content creation. We will see you next time.